So thank you for those that support us. But I think it's time we started capturing the audio and distribute it as opposed to just the video, because not everyone can get a hang of that. And by everyone, I'm saying it's harder to sort of cut and make it into smaller videos that are understandable as to the topic that I'm giving. So that there's no data hassle. So I've been thinking about the campaign thus far and what they are saying, and especially because it's Black History Month, I think it's kind of important to make that statement something tangible. Why is there such thing as Black history? That sense of segregation that we live with is supposed to be about identity and not race, but unfortunately that's the society that we live in at the moment. So you get people offending a whole race by proxy due to skin color. One of the bad repercussions of this is that the sense of inferiority that's instilled within black people, things like the hood, the ghetto, and so forth. The problem with all of this is it leaves out investing into people because they are part of the community, and not just trying to invest in all of them because they happen to be black. The community approach is better, and I want to reiterate again, I do strongly believe that having law enforcement also create new police from the neighborhood that they patrol. This will lead to less incidents of police brutality. Why? Because the people will be familiar with the environment. They grow up there, they know this is that and so forth. But the notion of becoming a police officer has been tainted so much. And I'll use Namibia as an example. Namibia faced very harsh unemployment rates, and the quick fix was to allow certain school failures to join the police and to join the military, and then from there they'll be trained. And what's missing now is a university setup where the police officers as well as the soldiers can be educated on certain topics. So while they are working, giving that sense of job security, and if they want to leave, they would still have their credentials. The credentials of being a soldier or policeman should be respected, and they are not. You get someone who gets a master's in human resource and then gets this big promotion. Unless that person has been promoted to a human resource department, it doesn't make sense. So the lack of accountability of looking at experience and credentials as well as recommendations, that lack of accountability leads to the favor promotion, where you help me, I help you, and if you're not connected, then sorry. That is something that needs to be rooted out. In fact, it's corruption, and it's corruption to keep the best behind and then put forward people because of their affiliation to political parties, groups, and tribes. Now, if you look at this situation and you flip it to the United States, it's almost the same, whereby the past is used to justify some neighborhoods from being over-policed. Like security companies. Security companies are for the very, very wealthy, while municipal police would be better for each town, and they would have all of the data that they need. It's basically community policing. These are one of the options that are being given out, and everybody is working hard to try and figure out what's the best approach to stop this, while at the same time keeping people safe and making sure that they feel safe. So this is something that I'm going to poke at and see the responses, because it's dying down now, and the people that represent it are people that represent equality. Just as with marching to have the right to vote, to have the right to sit in a bus, that narrative exists today, but in professional settings where there are invisible borders that cut off those neighborhoods that were deemed radical. We all know Fred Hampton was murdered by law enforcement. Everybody knows this, and even the FBI knows about this. That already shows you the lack of accountability that these officers want, or that they take, where it's more about saving face than doing the right thing, which is wrong. So to fulfill everybody's dreams for equality, it really has to be looked into as a form of investing in these neighborhoods for the sake of reparations. It can fall under reparations for these communities based on all of the data that is there about how they were marginalized and how that led to a cycle. So it's about breaking that cycle, and this cannot be done if this topic is looked at from only one angle, and most people won't really understand it. Like the Beyonce formation, a lot of people have had trouble with it. Supposedly it's controversial and so forth, but that's not true. What it is a nod towards what's happening, and someone saying, you know what, I have all these privileges and I really want to help out people, but I'm not a politician, I am a singer, I'm an artist. So she used her voice to support the cause. Kendrick Lamar used his voice to support the cause, and in this way they practically put a really loud speaker in front of marginalized communities and say, you know what, we care. And there is nobody that represents equality at the moment like Hillary Clinton. You see all of the slander that they are trying to throw at her. It is unfair how they are using her private life as well as the past against her, while knowing she has done more good than bad, and the bad was bad based on call it a bad phase on the job, or being frustrated about something. Like, can I send an email? No, you can't. Okay, I'm frustrated now because I want to work, so I'll just use another email account, and this has led supposedly to mistrust and claims that she's deceptive and so forth. These political tricks won't work on Hillary, and I hope people see that. She has been dragged through the mud by the media, we all remember that, including her husband, but they are still together, they are strong, they work things out, and are a prime example of the type of families that we want to see in our communities, where you have the two spouses taking care of their daughter, as opposed to the trend that's there where you only have single mothers, or you have people that have kids with people that they don't love, and in turn the love for the child is more like responsibility. So this is the candidate, and I stick with her until the end, because no one represents women's values more than she does at the moment, and her rise is being undermined. If you look at where she started and where she is now, Obama's narrative is almost the same, because she's not just a woman. Like most people say, no, people want a female president. It's not just about her being a woman. It is more about her representing women, and representing them in turn where she can go toe to toe with any man. And you know what's nice? She's a small lady. She's short, but she looks up at whoever she's talking to and looks them straight in the eye. No sense of insecurity whatsoever. And that is very powerful for a human being. And even more so, she is qualified. She is qualified to do the job of president, mostly because she was Secretary of State. This election, whether some like it or not, does have outside influence. Let's not forget, everybody, the UK wanted to ban Donald Trump, and he retaliated by saying he will pull out his investment. So that already shows you, whoever the winner is, the world is watching their conduct, thinking, can we work with this person? So the narrative has to be generally international as well as national, because America is opening up now. The isolation that America had is beginning to loosen up, and this isolation was mainly because America was self-dependent. They can survive based on their internal economy. In fact, they help other countries, right? That's how well off America is. But this money is not a representation of how minorities are living within the states, and it should be. I think government policies should be in charge of human issues. If the private sector disagrees, the public sector has to create. So if people don't have medical benefits from private hospitals and so forth, then they can have it in the public domain, where the government won't allow a person to suffer from an illness because of money. And all of this is it is now, it is here. It's like the future is here, and it's going to be a good race. I wish her the best, and I hope that you will stand with us and vote for Hillary. It's good for everybody, especially since her husband happens to be the former president. This makes her even more capable. And on that note, the email that I sent last night, which I know people read. I was removing conflicted ideas that are personal. If I can help, then I'll help the person I care the most about to help. And that gives me some sort of strength when I see, okay, I'm relevant here. And furthermore, I happen to understand this more than any outsider out there who are expecting something conventional, which is why I said let people recover. My house is right here. It will happen. Certain wounds have to heal. And I know for a fact this is a leader. And one day that will be proven to most people. And looking at Hillary Clinton and her history, what they did to her and her husband, I can sort of relate to that based on the people that have been manipulators, as well as those that try to judge based on what they think. It just gave me that sense of not giving up because she succeeded. And in the end, love won. And it's a beautiful, beautiful narrative. And let's not forget about the work that they do with their charity. Something that is helping a lot of people. So if she has the capacity to create that with her husband and it's working, then that means she can do even better when she becomes president. And yeah, that's me saying why I am firmly for Hillary Clinton. And yet again, I hope you're with her too. I hope you're with us too.